Will a ceasefire help in avoiding a spillover of Israel-Hamas war in West Asia? What is Israel doing to protect the lives of civilians in the Gaza Strip? Our correspondent Jodie Cohen spoke to Colonel Richard Kemp, who is the former head of the British forces in Afghanistan. Listen in.
We're hearing repeated calls from world leaders for Israel to do more to protect civilian lives. What more do you feel Israel should be doing to protect civilian lives?
I find it very annoying when I hear that sort of comment from world leaders, because they know, as I know, that the IDF is doing everything they possibly can to protect the lives of innocent civilians on the battlefield, and more than their own armies would be able to do in these circumstances.
Can I ask you why you think then they're calling for that?
The reason they're doing it is to appease members of their countries, their constituents, who, their voters, who are opposed to their support of Israel, and it's you know, there is no possible justification for them saying that, and making these comments, they're actually implying that Israel is not doing everything they can, and that feeds into Hamas's narrative.
So can you sum up for us what Israel, from your liaisons with the Israeli military, what Israel is doing to protect civilians in Gaza?
Israel has a very sophisticated intelligence network relating to Gaza, and they're using that intelligence to target specific Hamas objectives, leaders, weapons stores, headquarters, this sort of thing, wherever they might be in Gaza. And they're deliberately trying to avoid hitting any civilian objectives. But because Hamas hides within the civilian population, there's going to be no way of destroying Hamas without, unfortunately, killing some civilians. But they will try and warn the civilians to leave an area they're going to hit if they can. They've dropped millions of leaflets. They've sent millions of text messages, millions of voice messages. They've made tens of thousands of phone calls to people, civilians living inside Gaza, to warn them to leave and telling them where they should go.
We've also seen increasing calls for longer pauses in the fighting and even increasing calls for a ceasefire. Do you agree with those calls?
I think if there's to be a ceasefire, it must be preceded by the release of at least a significant number of hostages, if not all of the hostages, and obviously all of the hostages would be better. Otherwise, without any kind of return, what Israel is doing is allowing Hamas the opportunity to regroup, to reorganize, and present an even greater threat than they're doing now. So short of that, I don't think the IDF should countenance any idea of a ceasefire.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.